Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now. Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 13. Let's get right into this.
From the beginning, she did everything in her power and combined with her mom and her sister to scare me from being part of this group. And it's sad because, there's room for everybody here.
Okay, you guys, so we were off last week because it was a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, the 49ers lost, and I was rooting for them. But anyway, so there was no Potomac, but we have it now. And when the episode began, I'm not even going to lie to y'all, I was a little disconnected because it had been a week and not a lot of stuff was going on. But this episode really kind of made me connect again because I thought it was pretty good. So let's begin. We start with Mia and Gordon at their home. They actually seem okay, and he's getting ready to volunteer at some field day for the kids. And Mia is telling him about Karen, calling her a trick. She says that Karen must be smoking something. Then Ashley comes over, so Mia is talking to her, and she asks about the divorce, which is non-existent. And Mia tells Ashley that when her and Gordon talked about Ashley's situation at lunch the other day, Gordon had said that Ashley probably wouldn't get rid of the sugar daddy, but most importantly that he told Mia that if they ever got to a point where they were going to split, they would never divorce. They would probably just come to some sort of agreement. Ashley says that she understands the security aspect of it, so Ashley goes into more detail and she gets really vulnerable. Actually, she talks about a childhood experience when her mom got evicted and they were on the side of the road with no home, and even thinking about that happening to her and her kids made her cry. It was really sad for her to say that, but she says that maybe by the end of the year she will be officially divorced. I doubt it, but that's what she said. Mia mentions the trip they're going to take, so Robyn invited them to La República Dominicana, the Dominican Republic. That's a fun trip, and right off the bat, everyone's talking about this is not going to be no healing, no trust exercises, none of that. We're going to go have some fun. They also will be celebrating Ashley's birthday. Now, when they did that last year, it was crazy. Remember Mia and Jacqueline? Remember that whole thing? And then we see the fabulous Nneka Ihim walk into a restaurant, and then Wendy comes. Wendy looked fabulous. That outfit was everything. I will give her that. But Lord, from the very beginning, I already knew that this was going to be crazy, and it was going to piss me off. So Wendy came in with horrible energy, and Nneka was, trying to ask her questions, trying to get the conversation started, but Wendy was answering her with one-word answers. Okay. Good. Yes. No. Nneka should have said, girl, bye. But, Nneka's trying. So Nneka says, before I entered this group, about 2 weeks before I officially got on here, my cousin Lebe was getting calls from your family. So apparently, before Nneka even got on the show, when they were in talks of her perhaps joining, Wendy's problematic family was already saying that Nneka was trying to get clout from Wendy's. And as Nneka is explaining all of this, Wendy says, well, my problem is you calling my mom a witch. And Nneka says, well, that was after the phone calls were made. And Wendy says, my sister and my mom have denied making calls, but we literally saw, and they even showed the flashbacks, Wendy talking to Susan, and Susan sitting up in that couch talking about, I called Lebe to tell her that it's very easy to make enemies. So, enough. Wendy asks, but what did I do to you specifically? And as soon as Nneka opened her mouth, Wendy says, I'm asking what did I do, not my family. What did I do? Which I understand Wendy asking that question. But Nneka says, Wendy, your mom submitted my name to a shrine. She said that she did it. You know what that means in our culture. And Wendy, you know what the significance is. And Wendy says, well, you know what the significance is of you calling somebody a witch in our country. And Nneka says, Wendy, she told me about the shrine. That's why I said what I said. Wendy asks, can you apologize? And Nneka says, you know what, I'm willing to put it aside, and I apologize for calling her the name of a witch, and I apologize for calling you a bitch. Wendy says, thank you for your apology. Nneka says, Wendy, I have been deeply impacted by this. You were saying that I smoke crack and coming out with these allegations. Wendy says, my kids have been impacted by this as well. Reach. But Wendy says that, her calling their grandmother, oh, Sue, is horrible. And Nneka says, well, you know what? Submitting my name to a shrine is horrible as well. That could ruin my lineage. They keep going back and forth, and then Wendy says they can coexist, but that's it. She gets up and says, "You don't want peace." Nneka says, "No, you don't want peace." So she gets up and walks off. Meanwhile, Nneka gets a hot mic moment where she was telling a producer that she wanted to apologize and she wanted to be cool with Wendy, but Wendy knows that everything she's saying is true, and then she begins to cry. And I give her props for being the bigger person and trying. At this point, I don't give a damn what the Wendy cult has to say to me. Because if you found out that calls were being made, that your name was being put on a shrine, I would love to see your reaction. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, the next scene is Candiace and Chris. They're talking about a bag that Candiace bought, which was a little expensive, but there's a little bit of a conflict. So Chris is getting pissed. He says that Candiace is very busy and there really is no time for them to spend together. He was getting a little cocky, but yeah, they need to spend more time together. So that led to talking about the embryos and if they're going to continue with that process. And Candiace says that she thinks about that literally every day, but with this recent scare of her breast, it really worried her. But thankfully, she did get a letter saying that she had no cancer, so that's amazing. But I don't understand why Chris was being so rude to Candiace. He kind of wanted to, dismiss this and expect Candiace to, get over it. I get it, but damn, calm down, sir. That's your wife. The next scene was very nice. It's Gizelle and the girls. They made Grace a very nice book of old pictures and stuff because Grace is graduating high school. I love seeing Gizelle give her a little talk and tell her that she loves her and she knows that everything's going to be okay because she has given Grace the tools to go out in life now. And they didn't film the actual graduation, but they did show iPhone footage of the graduation and then the party afterwards, which looked like it was a lot of fun. Jamal was there and so were the grandparents, and it looked like they had a very nice time. Then Robyn, Nneka, and Mia go shop for their vacation. Robyn asks Mia, "What is going on with you and Karen?" And Mia says, I really don't care because I know that Karen changes her energy depending on who's around. Robyn also asks Nneka how it went with Wendy, and Nneka says she doesn't want to move forward, so it's okay. So then we see them hop on that plane and they arrived at the Dominican Republic. They get on a sprinter. An invitation was also extended to Kriana, who we don't really know much about, but I think in this episode is when we were kind of starting to see a little bit more of her. Robyn then tells them that they're going to have a great time. She got a great villa. And the place of the resort is called Casa de Campo. And apparently, Ray has spent a lot of time there. He goes there annually. Why? Why are Ray and Curtis from Married to Medicine going to the DR? Karen said that one time she called and a girl answered, but Ray told her that it was the cleaning lady, so she's not worried about it. Ladies, if your husbands are going to the DR, you have been warned. So they arrived to the resort and it is very nice. I'm glad that they got a decent trip. It's a beautiful villa. Kriana got her first confessional, but poor girl had some bowel problems when she got there. Then they check out the rooms and wow, Robyn, to say that she got the master is an understatement. Her room looked like it could have been the whole villa alone. So when it came to distributing the other rooms, Lord have mercy, Robyn automatically put Karen on a room where she had to share with somebody, and Karen was pissed. Although, to be fair, Gizelle and Robyn have had to share a lot of the times, but Karen is not going to stand by this, okay? She goes to the host and she says, "I'm going to pull out these Benjamins and tell me the price because I'm going to get my own room." This became a ruckus. Everybody talking about who was going to be sharing, what is Karen doing. Ashley offered her room, but Karen doesn't want it. But I don't blame Karen because, listen, I am not sharing a room or a bathroom. I'm sorry, but I can't do it. So, Karen, I get you. It was hilarious, though, that Robyn was saying, Ashley offered Karen her room, but Karen want to stick up her nose and doesn't want it. And Karen says, "Oh, Robyn, shut your raggedy ass up." Robyn starts to say, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." This was so funny because it was so childish. It wasn't anything serious, but it was kind of funny seeing that back and forth. Long story short, Ashley agrees to share with Mia so that Karen can have her own room, so at least they will all still be together. So then Kriana, who really is beautiful, remember how I told you that she had a little bit of stomach issues? Well, Gizelle goes to check up on her and nobody wanted to share with Kriana, and no one, even her so-called friends, Wendy and Candiace, didn't even have the decency to go check on her and ask how she was doing with her stomach. So I felt kind of bad. And I also saw the way that Wendy spoke to her. It was really ugly. So looks like Gizelle might recruit Kriana. Then a little later, they are settling in, they get dressed, and Gizelle tells Ashley, Robyn, and Mia that she has a little fun idea. She knows that Karen has been throwing shade at Nneka, saying that she lives in North Potomac. Which, by the way, if anybody out here listening lives in Potomac, what is so wrong with North Potomac? Like, what's the big deal? But Gizelle says, Nneka actually owns her house, so they're going to crown her as the new Grand Dame. So they go outside and they begin this presentation. Gizelle has a crown and says Nneka has moved to Potomac and purchased her home. Karen, you have shaded her, but this is a coronation. And then Gizelle names Nneka as the new Grand Dame of Potomac, which is something silly, but some of the people in this group are a little too bitter and they couldn't really handle that fun moment and they had to walk off. But yeah, it was a funny thing. Obviously, Nneka's not the Grand Dame. We know that's always going to be Karen, but this was just like, something funny. But that was the end of the episode. Looks like next week we're going to start to delve more into the Mia and Gordon of it all. So that shift's going to be definitely interesting. But as far as this episode, you guys, let me know, what were your thoughts? I know a lot of you guys disagree with me when it comes to Wendy, but I've made up my mind. I don't think she's a good person. But if you disagree, you can tell me and your thoughts about the episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.